I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe you're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I had to leave. I will let you go. Why do you think that I want? Why do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to the Monster Mile. Dover Motor Speedway plays its part now into our Season 8 NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series playoffs, coming off the heels of last week at Nashville Super Speedway, our first elimination race of the season, in which we saw 12 drivers move on, 4 drivers journey for the championship, coming to a close. We'll be documenting all that during the course here of this qualifying session, but now it's a clean slate for 12 drivers. An opportunity here with Dover, Atlanta, and Arizona on the horizon. In those 3 races, you're either looking to pick up a victory to lock yourself into the round of 8 or accumulate enough points to keep yourself above the 8th in the standings cut line. Point standings have been reformatted for those 12 drivers that have moved on. Most drivers sitting at 200 points apiece. One driver actually at the top of the point standings with 5 bonus points after picking up his 3rd victory of the season last week at Nashville Super Speedway, and that would be James Qualls. So he has a slight advantage points-wise over the other 11 competitors. We'll see if that might be a difference maker by the time we get to Arizona, but we got to set the table here with Dover. Now, before we can determine who's going to be potentially moving on to the next round of the playoffs, we've got to do qualifying here, and we will start with knockout qualifying as the clock has already begun in the expedited 5-minute session here. I believe we had a total of 8 drivers that were on the go or go home list here this weekend. A number of drivers considering this a home track, so trying to make an appearance here on the Cup Series starting grid, as well as a number of our non-charter regulars as well. You can see one of them there in Autumn Brooks, who will actually be later on this afternoon at 3 o'clock in the late series race, starting from the outside of the front row. So we're nearing 4 minutes remaining in the session right now, and everybody's still sitting there on pit lane. So I'm wondering, since this is a track that is known for being very abrasive on tires, more than likely these drivers are kind of sitting there, waiting it out, and might only plan on putting down maybe 1 or 2 really good qualifying laps here, hoping it'll be enough to be in the top 2 of the speed charts. It sounds like we had somebody roll off of pit road there towards the front end, and it's Kyle Langland in the 93. We'll see Langland here later on this afternoon as well. Borderline must-win situation for him in the late series race to be able to advance into the round of 7. Kyle Langland here on the Cup side, though, looking to make what would be his 8th start of his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series career. 2 finishes inside of the top 5. Both those finishes his only top 10s as well in his previous 7 starts. He is, I believe, on the clock. We'll wait for him to come around here. Lap time would go up on the board, and then we'll bring up the remaining time, which is now just hit 3 minutes even. 25.501. Going to be the first official lap time of this session. We'll bring up the ticker here, just under 3 minutes, and you'll start to see the lap time scrolling in. Nathan Fogler, part-time here in the Cup Series, looking to make what would be his second start of his career. Finished 21st in his debut. Started 18th in that race, as a matter of fact, too. Bryce Egan, another of our regulars. Bryce is looking to make his 14th start on the season. There's Autumn Brooks, clocking right now 4th fastest, now make it 5th fastest. Seth Cole for the Bishop Family Racing in the Candemonium Hershey Park Dark Horse Mustang. One of the few home tracks around the northeast area, so Seth Cole looking to try and make what would be his first start on the season. Another driver that considers his home track, Benny Watson, driving one of the entries out of Fortnite Squad Racing, the number 75 Hers Toyota Camry. Right now he's top of the board, 24.853, now drops to second. Benny's looking to make his 3rd start on the season, as he's got an average finish of about 20th in his 2 previous starts here. Hiccup Bush, right now 5th fastest, as he's looking to make his 4th start on the season. Average finishing position in those 3 starts, though, of 10.33. That's really impressive. And then there is the final driver who is top of the board. That would be Andrew Miller in the 91 this week for Fortnite Squad Racing, the Powerade Toyota Camry. He was top of the board, and his 24.615 just got eclipsed. He drops to second, so now he's on the bubble. Who went to the top of the board? It's Nathan Fogler with a 24.609. As soon as I say that, he's been dropped to the bubble spot of second. Who eclipsed his lap time? That's going to be Seth Cole at a 24.588. So let's drop back again to Fogler, who is the bubble driver now. Looking to make his 2nd start. Seth Cole looking to make his 1st here in Season 8. A Ford and a Toyota as Hiccup Bush coming to pit road here with 30 seconds remaining. Hiccup is currently 5th fastest. Looks like they're throwing in the towel. Does not look like he'll be advancing here this weekend. Andrew Miller right now is the first car out. 24.615. That is 6/1000ths off the lap time put down by Nathan Fogler. And 0's on the clock. Of course, they will get to run down a little bit here. Oh, someone just jumped him. Someone just jumped. Benny Watson just jumped Nathan Fogler. Closing stages, 24.536. That's 2/1000ths off of the lap that Seth Cole put down to be at the top of the board. He had a 5.34, Watson with a 5.36, and a last-minute buzzer beater may have just gotten Benny Watson into the field for his 3rd start on the season. Cole still at the top of the board. Watson still holding 2nd. Red flag is out. Whether times are no longer being scored or not, I'm not sure. They did not score the 75 that last time by, so I believe we are in cool down. I believe that the session is concluded. And there it is. Benny Watson is going to snipe the final transfer spot. Look at how close those 2 lap times were there. 2/1000ths of a difference. So Seth Cole and Benny Watson, a couple of drivers in the Northeast, considering Dover one of their home tracks. They are going to transfer their way in. Cole will be making his debut, his season debut, and Benny Watson will be making his 3rd start on the season after an average finishing position of 20.5 in his 2 previous starts. Missing out are going to be a couple more Toyotas there. Nathan Fogler, Andrew Miller, Autumn Brooks, Bryce Egan, Kyle Langland, Hiccup Bush, some of our regulars from week after week after week, 5th through 8th. And so for Brooks and Langland, they'll be waiting for the upcoming lights race here in a couple of hours before they head back out here onto the racing surface. So Seth Cole, Benny Watson there moving on. The other 40 drivers are now waiting in the wings as we'll get ready to find out who's going to start from the pole position here this weekend at the Monster Mile. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Welcome back here to Dover as we get set now for the pole position to be determined, the rest of the starting line to be determined as well here in our first race of the round of 12. 10 minutes for these 42 drivers to try and lay down that lap time, and I mentioned this yesterday in the lights qualifying session. Historically here in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, we haven't had Dover on the schedule for the light series. That was the first time for them, but at least here in the Cup Series, Dover has been pretty much a track position racetrack. You start at the front, you have a very good chance of maintaining that track position. Only ways you may lose it is if you get involved in a wreck, obviously, and maybe with some mistakes on pit road. Other than that, you start at the front, you've got a pretty good chance you're going to finish up there. We've kind of evolved maybe a little bit here. There may be some more passing opportunities that we'll see tomorrow afternoon, but I'm not necessarily certain. I don't know what side of the spectrum we're really going to be on. And so it'll be interesting to see how much emphasis, specifically, these playoff drivers are going to put on qualifying. Speaking of playoff drivers, we're looking at one. That'll be Jack Mitchell. Mitchell moving on into the next round of the playoffs after he finished out round 1 6th in the point standings. And as mentioned, everybody, with the exception of James Qualls, is all tied with 2,000 points apiece, so it really doesn't matter where they're positioned here after the points reformat. Everybody is basically in an 11-car tie for second place behind the 70. Lap time should start cycling in here with 8.5 minutes left to go. You'll see the ticker update itself here, as it'll still be showing you the lap times from the previous session with the light series drivers. There's another of our playoff contenders, Matt Haas. Haas Racing looking really good down the light side, as this is the elimination race here in a couple of hours' time. And we know Colin Grace is already locked in. Aubrey Powell looking like she's in good shape as well. Matt Haas trying to find some success here on the Cup side as he finished out round 1, 10th in points. 3-time winner on the season, including the season opening Daytona 500. Number of drivers coming off of pit road here. Now you notice that the drivers that are the playoff contenders still have the gold spoilers that say playoffs on them. We're looking at RJ Bishop and Nathan Ormond. Ormond does not have the playoff spoiler any longer, as he was one of the 4 drivers that was eliminated. And we'll talk about him in a minute, but first highlight RJ Bishop, who we are going to see pulling off the double here this week. He's going to be hopping into the Light Series Bishop Family Racing All-Star car here, starting inside the top 10 later on this afternoon. RJ finished out round 1 7th in the point standings, so he moved on to the next round pretty handily. Nathan Ormond, however, he finished out round 1 14th. He ended up finishing a total of 8 points rather, below the 12th in the standings cut line, so his journey comes to an end. Ormond now just looking to finish out the season with as many checkered flags as possible. 2-time winner on the season, so looking to build off of that. 4-time winner on the season, Destin Boland, still in the playoffs. Destin finished out round 1 9th in points, and he is one of 2 of the Young Motorsports drivers that were able to advance. The other one did get eliminated. We'll see if we can find him during the course of this session. There he is, right on cue. Eric Sadler, one of our rookies that advanced into the playoffs, and both of our rookies were eliminated in the first round. Eric Sadler ended up finishing out 16th of the 16 playoff drivers in that first round, so very quickly eliminated, but that doesn't take away from the incredible rookie season that he has had. This is the guy that left Nashville Superspeedway maybe with the highest heart rate. Nick Gunther finished 12th in the first round. He was the cut driver. He was the cut line driver. He was only 2 points below Daniel Voiles, who was 11th, only 1 point ahead of Michael Norman, who was the first driver eliminated. It was that close around the cut line. So Nick Gunther looking for a much smoother second round here, starting at Dover, which is a home track for him as well. Pocono and Dover, home tracks for Nick Gunther. So looking to show out here with the home crowd. There is Daniel Voiles, another driver that was very close around that cut line, as I just mentioned. He was only 2 points to the good, 11th in that first round. And so another driver that is looking for a much smoother round two. Reggie Fogelman, we saw him last week at Nashville Superspeedway try some alternative fuel strategy. He ended up leading the most laps. He didn't get the finish that was nearly indicative of how good a car he had, but I loved the strategy call. I loved the gamble that he had because he was pretty much locked in on points. He had built such a good buffer back to the cut line. Why not try something different? Fogelman was looking for his second win on the season, but now he goes back to work here as he advanced his way into the round of 12. Even with the poor performance that he had, he still finished second in that first round as far as points are concerned. So keep an eye on him. He really got some good consistency. And Carson Gum actually ended up finishing the highest, finished P1 in that first round of our 16 playoff contenders. So keep an eye on him out of Fortnite Squad Racing as well. Carson Gum right now 25th on the board. Now make it 26th though. Alexander Rowe, another of our playoff drivers. Kind of a quiet, consistent round one, if you will, for him. He was 4th in round one of the playoff drivers. And quietly consistent, a lot of times get you championships. Flashy's good, but when you're under the radar, oh boy, nobody expects it. You never know. You never know. There's another of our drivers that was eliminated, Michael Norman. 1 point. 1 point was all he needed to tie Nick Gunther for that final 12th position in the standings. 2 points is all he needed to be ahead of Gunther and eliminate the 55. But Michael Norman, unfortunate for him, eliminated. He finished 13th of the playoff drivers back in round one. I believe, yeah, both of the Michael Norman Motorsports entries were eliminated in that first round. Ryan Brommer, moving on there. Brommer ended up finishing 8th of the playoff contenders in round one, and he really struggled last week at Nashville Superspeedway, dropping 6 spots in the standings. So he had a pretty decent start to round one, but then was very lucky he built up enough of a points cushion after the bad performance at Nashville Superspeedway. So looking for a little period of reset, so to speak. Levi McIntyre moving on here into this round of 12. In the Shadow Cult Racing entry, Levi finished 3rd of the playoff drivers in round one. Another of the drivers, kind of like Alexander Rowe, quietly consistent. Trying to see if we've documented all of our 12 playoff contenders. I feel like there might be a couple that we've missed. Field is quite spread out here all the way around the racetrack. We can highlight Summer Henson, another of our rookies that got eliminated in round one. Henson and Eric Sadler both not going to be in the fight for the championship any longer. Summer was 15th of the 16 drivers in round one in terms of points accumulated, but still, much like Eric Sadler, just looking to continue to build off of this rookie season. And Summer Henson, of course, as well, is still in that fight with Eric Monaco for Rookie of the Year. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll get you updated on what that situation is as we're looking at who would currently be on the pole position with a minute and a half remaining. That would be the defending champion, Jessica Shelton. That throwback Coors Dodge Intrepid 24.272 has her at the top of the board. Casey Hoyt right now sits second at a 24.380. Then it's Dylan Young, Zachary Fitzwater, and Charles Sanford, the top 5. You got to go to 6th before you find any of our playoff drivers, and that currently would be Matt Haas. By the way, update on the Rookie of the Year standings is Summer Henson 2 points up on Eric Monaco. Well, later on this afternoon, we've got an all-female front row for the Light Series race as Sarah Fogelman, Autumn Brooks going to be leading us to green, and Jessica Shelton looking to complete the female sweep, if you will, for the pole here this weekend. See where some of our other playoff drivers are currently scored in the running order. Jack Mitchell is 9th, Alexander Rowe 11th, Destin Bolin is 12th, Reggie Fogelman 15th, Daniel Voiles right now 20th. And as I'm looking down at the bottom of the pile line here, last week's winner, James Qualls, is the lowest of the playoff drivers right now in 38th. We've also got Nick Gunther down there in 35th. Ryan Brommer 31st. RJ Bishop 29th. Carson Gum just a little better than him in 28th. So like I said, I don't know exactly what side of the spectrum we're going to be on in terms of the ability to pass here tomorrow afternoon. But for a lot of those drivers, they are hoping that this is going to be a track where you can set up and make passes. I mean, we're kind of seeing passes made right here. Shelton just set up Reggie Fogelman, got to his left rear quarter panel going into one, so we might end up seeing more passing than we're used to here at the Monster Mile. That's kind of encouraging to see that here in a qualifying session. Let's see what happens when we have them all stacked up double wide all the way back 21 rows deep, though. Zero's on the clock. Red flag has been displayed. I believe they've got this one lap here. Anybody that was past the start-finish line when we got to zeros can finish this lap, but this is a track that's very abrasive on the tires, and there you go. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there was going to be any improvement anyway. And Jessica Shelton going to capture, she's a multi-time pole sitter. This is her third pole on the season now. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure she had 2 coming into this race. And that will now tie her with Nick Gunther and Eric Monaco for most poles on the season. They've got 3 poles apiece at this point in time. And Jessica Shelton, of course, as we know, not locked into the playoffs, not going to be able to defend that title. It'll be the first time in the last 3 seasons that a S3 Motorsports car will not be taking the championship trophy. But for Jessica Shelton, opportunity here to be able to at least have a bit of a bounce back, at least try to find victory lane. She actually had a good run last week at Nashville Super Speedway, so maybe the momentum's there now, not having the pressure of trying to defend the championship. And we'll see, can she go pole to win tomorrow afternoon for her first victory of Season 8? Only time will tell. We basically gave most of where the playoff drivers are going to be starting in this race as we went down the running order there. Non-playoff drivers will start inside the entirety of the top 5. Remember, only one playoff driver won the first 3 playoff races back in round 1 with James Qualls. Monaco and Breton, non-playoff drivers, won the first 2 playoff races, so very likely we could end up seeing, the odds are greater with 4 eliminations after last week, of a non-playoff driver winning here tomorrow afternoon, putting more emphasis on performance and points for the 12 remaining playoff contenders. But some of them are going to get some good starting track position here. Matt Haas going to start 6th. Jack Mitchell will start up there in 9th. Rowe, Bolin just below the top 10 there in 11th and 12th. Reggie Fogelman there inside the top 15 as well in the 15th position. So those drivers going to have some good starting track position. Daniel Voiles in 20th. Levi McIntyre 25th. Carson Gum 28th. 29th for RJ Bishop. 31st for Ryan Brommer. Nick Gunther down in 35th. And James Qualls, as mentioned, he is going to be the lowest of the playoff drivers as he will start all the way down in 38th. Interesting. Quentin Moore 32nd, James Qualls 38th, Joshua Osborne 42nd. Doesn't look like Joanna Abbott Motorsports brought the qualifying speed here this weekend. Maybe they've got good long run cars here in race, but they are a former winning organization here when Quentin Moore picked up his first career victory at this racetrack. So a little surprised to not see a little bit more speed out of that organization as a whole. But Jessica Shelton captures her 3rd pole on the season. She'll be leading us to green here tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to tune in later on this afternoon at 3 as the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers will be on track. It's their first elimination race of the playoffs. 10 drivers began, 1 driver's already moving on, 6 more will join at the conclusion of that race. Who will they be? You'll have to tune in and find out. Thank you all for joining us here for this qualifying session on the Cup side. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We showed you what is going to be subsequently your starting lineup for tomorrow afternoon's race here to kick off the round of 12 from Dover. And until we see you, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, all flying racing at its best.
following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.